I'll bring Juliet back in again. Looks like she got knocked out. Okay, cool. So we're now going to talk about managing enrolments. And again, this is using the documents. So going to those documents and adjusting them, doing things like updating the steps and those sorts of things. So let's go into that and I'll have a look. Okay, we're going to progress an enrolment through the process, through the workflow that's been defined. I'm going to show you how to transfer and show you versions as well. We're going to look at the reviewing the workflow history. That is to say, what have we done with this document to date? And also we're going to look at updating outcomes for a particular document. We're also going to look at sending a statement of attainment or a certificate. So these are all the main sort of activities you might do, particularly if you're running an RTO that has training courses which are on a per unit basis. So maybe on maybe if you've got a training course which is delivering on a per qualification basis, that is to say there's lots of different statements of attainment, you would probably go through the update outcomes quite frequently, whereas those people working on short courses will go through all of this process for each student's enrolment fairly quickly. Okay, so once you've got a document, now you can get to a document. In fact, I'll just turn on my my ability to annotate and show you the spotlight. So what you can do is if you go onto the courses tab and then click on the documents icon, you get a listing of the documents, and you can click on the edit button to edit any of these. And the edit button is to the right of any of the listing of the documents. Once we're editing a document, you can see here that we've got this ability to select from a range of different steps. Now, again, these can be customized for each of your licenses. So you may find a different list here compared to what you're used to, but a lot of these are going to be very similar. A lot of these are going to be matching what you've already got. Again, we've got that send emails box over here that you can choose. And once you've chosen a step and the send emails is ticked, and you click on save or click on apply, that will actually apply that particular step. So if you wanted to apply, for example, a please complete your government required information reminder, you could do that, and then clicking on save or apply would send off the email to the student. Now, clicking on apply or save, the differences between that is that apply keeps you on the document. So if you've got a number of steps to apply for a particular document, for a particular enrollment, then it can be useful to click on apply. If you want to, however, if you want to basically save it, so you can then go on to the next document to deal with, you can click on save and it'll take you back to that list that you were on before. So that's how you progress an enrollment, progress a document through the workflow. And this listing here is the workflow that we're referring to. Now you can also transfer. So transferring a student involves clicking on the transfer button over here. Now we've got a big upgrade to the transfer process coming out shortly. So at the next release, you're going to see a change in the way the transfer works. I can show you how it works now, but just be aware that there'll be changes. The other thing too is if you've got multiple versions of the document, so if the document has been saved more than one time with new data, for example, if an initial enrollment didn't gather the eventness information, but the next enrollment, the full enrollment did, then there will be two versions, one that shows the information gathered first, and the next version will be all the additional information that has been gathered. And that's actually really useful because you can go back then and see what changes were made to a document at various times in case you've lost any information. Particularly helpful when troubleshooting when, for example, somebody, for some reason, updates somebody else's document. Usually that happens when there's a shared email address at your client's premises and someone clicks on the link thinking it's their enrollment and actually goes and updates somebody else. I know people have found that to be the case when they've come around to eventness reporting. That can be a bit complicated when that happens. Now on the left-hand side here, you can see that we've got this ability to save notes. So clicking on this button here will allow you, now this, I don't think this is available in the basic license, but definitely the standard license includes this. And this is a list of all the notes that have been saved so far. So if you want to add a note, this is like a customer service note, this stays with the enrollment, stays with the document. Even when it gets transferred, that stays with the document, which is pretty handy. So reviewing the workflow history is pretty handy. So this is when you're looking at a document and you want to find out what's happened to this document previously. And so in this instance, we click on the magnifying glass just to the left of workflow, and we get this little pop-up box comes up, which tells us what's happened. Now, it's the most recent step is right at the top. So you can see there, we had a registration, came through on the 5th of March. The USI was verified on the 5th of March. And then the USI verified was applied again, but this time an action was applied to the step. Okay, so there was a requested action by somebody to be completed by a particular date. So you can see there the different steps that have been applied. This is pretty handy when you want to find out what's gone on with this enrollment. You'll be able to identify if someone's been transferred, for example, if someone's had their statement of attainment sent. There's a lot of information here that can help you work out what's going on. Now, updating outcomes is the other thing you might want to do. It's also on the document. So if you scroll all the way down, as indicated by this arrow, scroll all the way down on the document, on the enrollment, you'll get to a place where you can see the document topics. Click on the little edit button there. So this is a common edit button you'll see throughout course sales. Clicking on that edit button for a particular unit of competency will bring up this document topics page. Now, again, this can vary depending on how you've set up your system. It may be that you don't have start and end dates, or maybe you only have end dates, because the start and the activity start and end dates, by default, they come from the course date. But if you run a continuous enrollment environment, you may therefore have to have a start date and end date, because each unit of competency actually gets started at different times. So you can keep this up to date, and you can select an outcome here as well. So select an outcome, update this information, click on save, and then once you click on apply, you'll see all of this information update. You see at the moment it says no details available here. Once you click on save and then apply, those details will appear in this list. But you must make sure you click on apply or click on save on the document itself, not just the document topic, because otherwise that information won't be recorded. Now, Nisha has a question here. How do you add the action? Nisha, can you just explain a bit more? Maybe I'll unmute you, Nisha, and just explain a bit more. I think I might have gone a bit far forward from when you were asking that question. There you go.
Yes,
Nisha.
just in the previous slide, I just wanted to know how you're actually adding that action to actually get something to happen.
Let me just see if I can get back to the previous slide. Just hang on a second. This one here. Okay. So this here about requesting an action from somebody?
That's right, yes.
Okay, I will show you that. Yep, I will definitely show you that. Okay, cool. Okay, and then let's go. I want to actually now share my screen by showing you the demonstration area. So let me just go there and I will show where you can add an action. Oh, I need to log in again. Okay, great. So I'll show you where to add that just while I'm thinking about that particular question. So hopefully you can someone confirm they can still see my screen, which has the training logo on the top left-hand corner and the list of documents. Can everyone see that? Just making sure I wasn't sharing the particular application.
Yep, we can see that.
Great, fantastic, thank you. Okay, so if I click on this edit button here, Nisha, over here, if I want to add an action for someone to carry out an activity, I can click on this button here, this little plus button, gives me a list, and then there's a list of names that appear here. Now this is controlled on the logins, okay? So those people who have a basic license, you won't see a list here. For those people who have the standard license, you'll see an option within the login, and I'll show you where that is in the login. I'm just going to open up another tab. I'll show you shortly where you can make that change. It's just to remind me. And then you can select a date that you need that addressed by, And you can also type in what you want them to do. So please phone about the payment. Okay, so now I've written that in. I just have to click on apply. Now I'm not sending an email to anyone, but I've just saved this information now on the document. So if I go back to the list, I just want to show you where that comes up. So I can close that now if I want. It will come up each time I open up the document. So I go back to the document list here at the top. You can see here how I've got a notification that there is an action required for someone. That's the person who has the action required. And if I click on the edit button here, automatically you'll see it's open and it's got the activity that has to be carried out, the action that has to be carried out. Okay. And there's also a way, if you look in the status, in fact, where you can actually review these too. So let me see if I can just show you that. If I click on status over here, that's in at the top here underneath the courses tab. You can see there, this is the action that's come up just there. Okay, so you can see those actions there. And in fact, you can filter this by certain people. Okay, so that gives you an ability to, it's like a to-do list effectively. And once I go back to the document, if I open up this document, for example, and let's say I've done that work, click on clear, click on apply, and I come back to my status list, and you see it's no longer in the list. So it's being carried out. So we're all happy about that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you was updating the step in sending.
Sorry, Scott. Just.
Oh, yep.
Yep. Sorry. Where did you clear it? I was writing notes. I didn't see where you clicked.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. I'll just go in. Go in here. So I get to go straight to the document from that status list as well. So if I click on this button here, anywhere along that.
Request action. Okay.
Yeah. So if I select that and choose a date, and then say do it again, and then I click on apply, you'll see here in the status list, you'll see that appear. If I click on this edit button here, this will edit the document and I can clear it there.
Okay.
Click on apply again, and I go back to status and you'll see it's no longer there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, cool. Okay, and so one of the steps that we had before, which we didn't show in the screenshots, was the ability to send out the statement of attainment. So again, you may have a different sort of naming convention for the statement of attainment, but usually it's sending the statement of attainment to the student or just sending the statement of attainment, and sometimes it's sending a statement of attainment to the customer contact. This depends on who you want to send to. The customer contact, again, is for the standard edition of course sales, and that allows you to send it to maybe someone who is responsible for that course, whether it be a co-provider that's working with you, or whether it be an employer of that particular individual. But choosing sending statement of attainment, once you've updated those outcomes, can then be applied, and that will actually send out the certificate, attach it as a PDF to the student. But what's important is that you make sure you update down here. I don't know if this is going to have, it doesn't have any document topics yet, but we've got to make sure we update the document topics prior to sending out a statement of attainment, because the statement of attainment actually uses the outcomes from those document topics, which I showed you before in that screenshot. So those document topics, you find them at the bottom. I can go into a document just to show you one of those, just so we're sure. Like I say, the document topics tend to get created when the USI is verified as well. So if I go in here, scroll down to the bottom of the document, you can see here we've got document topics here. There's no details available there because that hasn't been updated. So if I click on this edit button, choose a pass, choose an activity end date, click on save, click on apply, and you can see there we've now got a competency achieved pass. Now it is configurable to also show the dates as well there. So adjusting it and saying that you want the dates to appear in the summary will include the dates as well. But in this case, we're just showing the outcome, the result. Now that means that that unit of competency will be included in the statement of attainment to the student. Okay, so this is usually already set up for you. So the fact that the competency pass appears there is already set up, and the fact that the statement of attainment sends it out is already set up as well. It just means that if you find that your statement of attainments are blank, they don't have any units of competency on them, it could be that you have not actually updated the statements of attainment on the document. That can happen on occasions. Oh, hi there, Juliet. So this is where you're having problems. No document topics showing up. Okay, so if document topics are not showing up, to troubleshoot that, I'll just give you a bit of a hint, but maybe Julia, we can talk about later about that. It could be because the document topics are not appearing on the course dates. And that might be to do with when the course dates are created from the course master. Maybe there's something wrong with the format, or maybe there's just a setting that isn't quite right. So Julie, I'm quite able to come in and see if I can help you with that. See if we can make sure. It's very easy actually to create them retrospectively as well. So we can fix up all of those documents to make sure those document topics appear in the list. Okay, so who would like to put your hand up if you would like to go into a breakout room to try out some of these things? I'm quite happy to drop into your breakout room and see how you're going. Maybe you've already just tried it and you're happy with it. But if you want to go into the if you want me to set up a breakout room so you can show me you doing it and give you some advice, I'm more than happy to do that. So feel free to put your hand up